Hi, my name is ZaKaiRan, and welcome to my vodcast. Why improv? Why acting? Why performance? Why art? Why dance? Why music? Why express yourself in artistic ways? So why are so many people so interested in the arts? Why are so many people interested in acting and improvisation and comedy and art and dance and singing and music, etc., and performing and even, God forbid, performing in front of a live audience? It's because our true divine nature is joy, freedom, and infinite creativity. It is not the select few of humans on planet Earth who are joyful, free, and creative. It only appears that way because only the select few are courageous enough to put themselves out there and risk being criticized by the other repressed humans. The fact is, everyone is joyfully creative. Everybody has the ability to create wonderful things. It's just a matter of who lets themselves go and who stops repressing and denying their creativity. I see this all the time in my improv class. So many people want to come to my class, hence the large number of people that have subscribed to my Facebook group. But few of those hundreds of people actually come to my class. Everyone wants to be free and creative, but few are courageous enough to do it. But the ones that do put themselves on the line and allow themselves to express themselves freely, once they stop editing themselves and let go of their need to please others and let go of their fear of rejection, well, those are the ones who really have an absolute ball creating fun things on the spot in improvisation and then, of course, in other art fields. And those are the same people who get addicted to the delicious, inspired, joyful, creative feelings that they experience when they are improvising with other players in my improv class or any of the other improvisational thing, and dreaming up crazy stuff on the spot without thinking and without planning and without analyzing and scrutinizing and judging their every move, which is something most people do every single moment of their day. And those people interested in the performing arts are the ones who are sick and tired of doing that. They're sick and tired of self-judgment and repressing their joy and their creativity, and of course, sick and tired of the judgments from others. They're sick and tired of worrying about what other people are going to think. They're sick and tired of denying their infinitely joyful creativity. And acting improvisation is a great way to come out of the repression closet, so to speak, because every one of your fellow players are in the same boat with you. Even very experienced improvisers, or any creative artist for that matter, is always working towards greater and greater levels of expression and greater levels of freedom, and greater levels of divine inspiration, where their creative ideas and clever words and heart-touching song or dance or art, etc., seemingly comes out of nowhere. That is the inspiration that all artists strive for, which is creative inspiration that comes straight from spirit. And from a spiritual perspective, this creativity is channeled from a higher dimension. It is channeled from the pure essence of source, the pure essence of creativity, the same creativity that creates worlds, literally. The first time I ever experienced this immensely exciting, connected, spiritual, free creativity was in the acting class that I attended in Los Angeles with the immensely amazing acting teacher by the name of Daryl Hickman, who taught us all how to purely channel inspired emotion through our acting by doing hours and hours of emotional expression exercises. And one time I was acting my monologue in front of our usual class of about 30 people, And Daryl would guide us to actually channel our own spirit, so to speak, to channel pure creative emotion. And when you really tap into your own source of creativity, when that pure, connected, inspired emotion comes through your body and your vibration and your emotions, not only do you feel it profoundly, but the audience does too. The hairs on your neck go up. You get goosebumps. And you can feel your own divine spirit. You can feel your own source self. That is the kind of acting that makes superstars and makes movies make millions of dollars, because when you can make an audience feel deep emotion, especially inspired emotion, people will pay millions to feel that feeling. That's because everyone wants to feel their own source connection. Everyone wants to feel inspired emotion. Everyone wants to feel creative and excited and inspired and full of love and full of joy, etc. Because those feelings are our natural states of being. How most people live their lives in a constant state of repression is not our natural state of being. Repressing one's creativity for fear of being criticized by others is not our natural way of expression. Every single person on earth, openly or secretly, desires to be more creative and more expressive and more open and more spontaneous. There are a billion shower singers out there secretly desiring to sing in front of an audience. There are a billion disco dancers secretly wanting to legitimately dance and for an audience. There are a billion doodlers out there secretly desiring to paint and draw and create art. There's a billion joke tellers secretly desiring to become stand-up comedians. There are a billion movie watchers secretly desiring to become actors. There's a billion people desiring to create that amazing book. Now, does everyone need to or want to become a superstar performers or artists or writers? Well, no, but of course many do, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with immense success at all. Especially because anything is possible. We are not limited in any way to create anything that we want, except for our own doubts. And regardless of the success level you may desire, the question for all aspiring artists and performers is, how much can you let yourself go without repressing, denying, doubting, or judging your creativity or your supposed lack of creativity? And how much can you let go of your fear of being rejected and judged by others? And how much can you let go of your desire to please others, which is a pattern that goes hand in hand with fear of rejection? Because if you had no desire to please others, you would have no fear of rejection from them. You wouldn't give a shit what anybody thinks about your acting or your singing or your playing or your art or your writing, etc. And you would express your creativity just for the sheer personal joy of it, not to please the masses. For those who are expressing their creativity for the joy of receiving admiration and approval and praise from others, well, those are the ones that are setting themselves up for failure. Because even if they achieve success, well, they will constantly need a never-ending supply and approval and admiration, sort of like a drug hit, from a very fickle, disloyal, and judgmental populace whose attention will always go to the next shiny person or the next shiny thing and forget about you as quickly as they became fascinated by you. This is the classic drug-fueled celebrity crash and burn scenario when they have reached the pinnacle of fame and success and then they have nowhere else to go but down. But for someone whose creativity is solely expressed for their own joy, for the fun of it, well, those are the ones who remain happy regardless of their fame or lack thereof. And for those with that perspective that do achieve great success and fame, well, they're the ones who have a stellar lifetime career and have fun their entire way in their entire life without any crashes and burns. Those are the celebrities that we love all the way into their old age. From my perspective, as an extremely enlightened spiritual master who's been intimately involved in the spiritual world my entire life, and as an author and teacher, as well as an actor and comedian and filmmaker and improviser and improvisation teacher, I see no difference between the world of creative expression and the world of spiritual enlightenment, especially what is esoterically referred to as channeling, which is the opening to receiving and then transmitting of spiritual teachings to others. These spiritual transmissions are typically translated and expressed in words, in language, but the essence of those teachings is pure spirit, it's pure vibration. It has nothing to do with words. Words are just the translation of that vibration. Because whether it's spiritual energy or creative energy, they're identical in nature. Everything comes from source. Everything comes from spirit. That's why we value art so much, and music so much, and creativity so much. That's especially why we value paintings and so forth, like art from the Middle Ages and sculptures and the masters such as Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci, etc. And then later artists such as Van Gogh and Picasso, because their art was channeled, just like spiritual teachings. And similarly, the most inspired books that have stood the test of time that we just love and just think are just classics, like Shakespeare, etc., and plays, and then movies, and then music that seem timeless. And we still love, even decades, even centenarians later. We still love them because they were inspired by spirit. They still touch us in the heart. They were channeled. I mean, the best of everything that we value the most in life are the things that were inspired by spirit. That didn't come from struggle. They were channeled. They were just channeled straight through. And that includes technologies that we tend to take for granted and kind of separate from spirituality, such as computers and phones and cameras and cars and planes and rockets and even oil and made into gasoline. We're all inspired technologies. The point of this entire dissertation on creativity is to understand that every single soul on planet Earth, every single person on planet Earth is 100% creative in nature, because everyone is source, unlimited source, infinite source, immortal source, expressing itself through a human body. So everyone has the same infinite, unlimited ability to be creative and channel creativity and enjoy their delicious source creative vibration by expressing themselves in openly creative and inspired ways. And what opens that channel is the same thing that opens the doorways to anything positive that we desire, and that is joy, love, and an abundant perception, positive, abundant belief in general, and generally being unlimited in thought. And what blocks that creativity and inspiration, what blocks your own source nature, is limited, doubtful, lack-oriented, and judgmental thinking. So if you want to be totally creative and inspired, well, just don't do those limited, doubtful, lack-oriented, judgmental things and thinking and actions. Don't doubt yourself. Don't focus on unwanted things. Focus on wanted things. Build yourself up instead by affirming your brilliance, affirming your magnificence, rather than knocking yourself down with, I'm not good enough, or that's too hard, or only the special people are successful. Bullshit like that. Affirm your magnificence. Affirm unlimited possibilities every single day. And get past your unwarranted fears by getting out there and taking that improv class with amazing teachers like me or other amazing dance teachers, acting teachers, art teachers, etc. Take those singing, dancing, and acting and art classes. Get your ass to karaoke night and sing your heart out. Try out for that local play or musical. Pursue your dreams without doubting your success or your creativity by just having fun expressing yourself and without needing other people's approval and paying no attention to their insecure bullshit judgment that has absolutely nothing to do with you, but is just their own self-doubt. And take an acting improv class, because you don't need any training whatsoever to do it with improv. You don't have to learn lines. You don't have to take, rehearse and take classes on how to do it well, because improv is something that we all naturally do when we let ourselves go and surrender and allow ourselves to connect to that creativity. And it's something we all did naturally as children, where we would just adopt certain characters and roles and instantly create relationships and act out parts in a play together. And there are very few creative expression exercises that are more freeing than acting or dancing or artistic improvisation, where you just let yourself act or dance or paint without thinking. And when you don't think, that's where the magic really happens. That's the essence of meditation. That's why it first happened to me in my acting class. Even though I was saying words, I was saying a monologue. I knew my monologue so well that I didn't have to think about the words, and I could just purely channel spirit and emotion. And even if it takes a while to get to that pure state of complete surrender and allowance, it still feels absolutely amazing just being on the pathway towards it, on the pathway towards surrender and allowance. It feels absolutely amazing to let go and allow and receive, to just open up to creativity. And when you say or do something really funny or clever, especially something that you'd never imagine that you could have said or done or thought up, well, there's nothing that feels better than that. Nothing feels better than pure divine inspiration. That's the feeling that makes insanely funny comedy. That's the feeling that touches your heart and the hearts of others and makes them want to listen to you or watch you. That's the feeling, the expression, the creativity and inspiration that makes masterpieces and platinum songs and best-selling books and Academy Award performances and million-dollar Broadway plays and blockbuster movies. And most of all, that's the feeling that is the most joyful, satisfying, and fulfilling feeling you will ever experience in your life. A feeling that is not just miraculously felt, once if you're lucky, but a feeling that you can feel every single day of your entire life. And all it takes is opening up to your natural, divinely creative nature and not doubting it. Start your day every day affirming your brilliant, infinite, unlimited creativity and get out there and start having fun expressing it, regardless of what anybody else thinks. And I will see you at my improv class or at karaoke night, or I'll see you at the local play or on the dance floor, or I'll see your art at the art gallery, or I'll see you on the film set, or I'll see you on the silver screen, or I'll see you at the stand-up comedy night. So go out there, make your dreams come true, have fun expressing yourself in spontaneously creative ways, and come to my improv class that happens every most Thursday nights in the great town of Mullumbimby in New South Wales, Australia. My name is ZaKaiRan, and I help success and fun and joy-minded people create the happy, abundant lifestyle they love. Thanks for watching this podcast. And always remember to make life a holiday.